I was assigned to watch the human medic. My orders were clear. Ensure she didn't waste resources on our dying child. Our species were enemies of their allies. The logic was sound. The protocol was justified. But I watched her work for 48 hours without sleep. I watched her defy her superiors when they ordered her to stop. I watched her hands shake from exhaustion while running the 100th test. I watched her cry. While saving a life she had no reason to save. If she failed, my daughter would die within hours. And when my child opened her eyes for the first time in 3 days and called that human mama, I understood something about humans that terrifies the galaxy. They don't see enemies. They see people. 3 days earlier, our battered refugee ship dropped out of hyperspace. Near Human Medical Station Mercy, 7. 47 wounded. 3 hours of life support remaining. And my daughter Sarah, 7 years old, dying in my arms. The human medical officer, Commander Roth, met us at the airlock. Professional. Controlled. We'll do what we can. But his eyes flickered when he saw our species markings. Catherine, aligned with the Vrax Collective. Humanity's allies, sworn enemies. We weren't supposed to be here. Dr. Elena Hayes found Sarah in the triage bay. Her dual hearts failing. Blood fracturing in the scanner's light. 3 hours. Maybe less. Commander Roth appeared. Dr. Hayes. A word. In the corridor, Roth kept his voice low. That's a Catherine child. We have 47 allied patients and limited supplies. Medical protocol. She's a child. She's an enemy combatant's child. We don't have the resources to. She's a child. Hayes's voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. And she's dying. Doctor, I'm ordering you to focus on our allies. That's final. Hayes looked at him, then walked back to Sarah's bed. What are you doing? Roth demanded. Hayes's hands flew across the console. My job, sir. Write me up later. But she didn't know. The real test had already begun. Hour 6. Hayes had stabilized Sarah's primary heart. But the secondary was failing. Catherine biology was a nightmare. Dual cardiovascular systems. Blood chemistry rejecting human medications. Every treatment was improvisation. I stood in observation, documenting the supposed waste of resources. But instead, I watched a human fight death itself. Hour 12. Sarah's vitals stabilized. Hayes leaned against the wall, eyes closed, allowing herself 30 seconds of hope. The alarm screamed. Hayes was at the bedside instantly. Come on, sweetheart. Stay with me. I didn't understand the endearment. Sarah was nothing to her, an enemy's child. But Hayes's hands were gentle. Hour 18. Roth returned with security officers. Dr. Hayes, you're relieved. Effective immediately. Hayes didn't look up. You'll have to remove me physically, sir. That'll take time. Time she doesn't have. Your career is over. Then it's over. Hayes adjusted in 4-line. Hands steady despite exhaustion, etched into her face. She's a kid. We save kids. That's the job. Her hands were shaking. She'd never been more terrified. Or more certain. Roth left. The security officers stayed, but didn't interfere. Hour 24. A transmission from Catherine High Command arrived. I delivered it to Roth. Let the child die. Resources spent on Catherine refugees will be considered an act of aggression. There will be consequences. Roth read it. Walked to the observation window. He stared at Hayes, still running tests, hands trembling with fatigue. And he didn't shut her down. Hour 30. Hayes's voice cracked. As she spoke to the medical AI, there has to be something. Cross-reference human adrenaline compounds with Catherine stress hormones. The AI beeped. Match found. 60% mortality risk. Recommend against. Hayes stared at the screen, at Sarah's failing vitals, at the impossible choice. What? I asked, stepping into the bay. Why are you doing this? Hayes looked at me, and I saw something I'd never seen in any species. Not determination, not duty, defiance against the universe itself. Because she deserved a chance. Because when I look at her, I see my niece. Because I'm human, and we're stupid enough to believe every life matters. She turned back to Syrah, even when it costs us everything. Hour 36. Syrah's heart stopped. Hayes's hands moved. Chest compressions adapted for dual heart physiology. Clear. The defibrillator discharged. Nothing. Flatline. Again. The second heart stopped. Both flatlined. For 8 seconds, Syrah was dead. Hayes pressed the paddles one more time. Come on, baby. Fight. The monitor beeped. Once. Twice. A rhythm. Hayes collapsed against the bed, sobbing. Hour 42. The experimental compound was ready. 1 dose. 60% chance of death. 40% chance of life. She administered it. Syrah's hearts synchronized. Respiration steadied. Brain activity normalized. Hayes slid down the wall and wept. Hour 48. Syrah's eyes opened. Her first word, translated through the medical AI, was the Kethran term for mother. She was looking at Hayes. Then the impossible happened. 2 days later, 300 Kethran warships arrived. I stood beside Hayes as the delegation entered. Certain we'd witness an execution. The Kethran High Commander knelt before Dr. Elena Hayes. You are Keth Ma, family by blood debt. You saved our future. We owe you a debt spanning generations. Hayes, exhausted and facing court-martial, smiled. I didn't do it for a debt. I did it because she's a kid. The commander's expression shifted. Confusion becoming understanding, becoming awe. Yes, that's what terrifies us about your species. You save enemies. You protect those who cannot repay you. You see people where we see strategic assets. Then humanity showed what truly terrifies the galaxy. Kindness. He stood, addressing Roth. The Kethran sovereignty withdraws from the Vrax collective. Effective immediately. We will not stand against the species. That values life above politics. 1 human medic. 1 dying child. 1 impossible choice. The galaxy would never be the same.